Hey guys, how's it going? Now in this video, I just wanted to share with you a model from my book that I wrote a couple of years ago called The Book on Web Psychology, right? And I don't know if you can see that because the lighting's a bit bad today. But yeah, that's my book I wrote a couple of years ago, right? And it was all to do with the lessons that I learned from working with big corporate companies like Coca-Cola and Disney, like these brands. And when I worked on these brands through my corporate career, when I was working on these campaigns and working on a certain part of these brands, right? When it came to working and liaising with their marketing departments, I got to see it from a third person point of view, and I saw how the work that I did was utilised and checked by various members on their teams and how it came to fruition. So the work that I did got fed through, got signed off, got validated, and then got signed off, and then obviously they come back to you with approvals and stuff, and it just blew my mind. And then, you know, but so what I realised was, like, look, when it comes to having an online business, and this is what it's more specifically about, this one is, there's a certain way that users think online, right? And if you look carefully on my book, it says the 7 steps. The lighting, I really do apologise, but there we go. The 7 steps, just there, right? It says the 7 steps to understand online consumer behaviour. So that was a subtitle of the book, and that is all to do with how do users behave online? Because when we are online, we act differently to how we might do in the real world, right? Because it's all this psychology behind, because we're behind a screen, we become a different person because we feel safe, and it's different to shopping outside, and especially more so now with the you know, corona outbreak and, you know, lockdowns and everything. Online shopping, so this stuff, I could pretty much say that I was ahead of the curve, right? It's just, I'm just saying that it's a vanity thing, right? But I'm only joking. But in a way, it's relevant now because, and I didn't think it would be as relevant as it is today, because now people are scared to go out. They're scared to go out as freely as they did before. So now they're spending more time at home. They're spending more time shopping online. So, and I wouldn't change any of these steps that I've got written down. And I'm going to write them down for you in order, right? But these are the steps of the main bulk of my book, right? And I'll talk through each of them, right? But the thing is, when it comes to online business, if you've got an understanding of how users think, like a baseline understanding or a model that you can reference, then it really does help you. Because sometimes when you're creating a funnel or a product, or you know, it could be an online course, sometimes you get stuck because you don't know what users are after, or you don't know what they might need or whatever. But if you follow these steps, right, and you understand this model is how users think online. So when they come online and they start to look for a solution, and they look at different brands, and then they buy, and then how they think after they've bought as well, whether they want a refund or not. It's all, I've documented it all in this book. And it's all about, then you can, when you're creating your online business, it's easy for you then to, you know, if you know who your target audience is, but then you're looking for a creative upsell, and, you know, so they've already bought into you, you've sold one product, but then you feel like, wow, they've bought my product, but what else could I sell to them? Then you could find out where they are in their user journey with you, and you can use these references, and then you can start to upsell them, and that will give you an idea of how much you can even charge as well. So if it can become more profitable for you, because you can offer more value if a user is looking for a bigger solution, right, or more solution, or one-on-one access with a coach. You know, you could offer a coaching package or whatever it is. Honestly, this is totally universal, and it will work with anything, right? So, and I've got something good for you at the end of this video, so it's not going to take too long, and I'll share with you, I'll show you the reasons why this matters. Is because if you can understand how users think, then it's really going to help you with your online business, because this book is all about online psychology and web psychology. So when users are online, what do they go through, right? So typically, obviously, people will first realize that they recognize that they need a solution to a problem, right? Whether that's a purchase that they need to make, whether that's going online to watch YouTube or whatever, right? But these 7 steps, right, are so important. And the first step is understanding that you've got that need to a particular problem, right? And this is the thing, when people recognize, it's not sometimes a case of it's something that they need, sometimes it could be something that they want, right? But this word encapsulates it either way. So whether they want an endorphin fix by binge watching YouTube, or whether it's genuinely a product that they need for gardening or something, right? Or something like that, whatever it is, whether it's some advice or information that they need, the first part is that recognition. And I go into detail in the book like why it's important, and why, if you understand that people at that point they've thought that they need and understand that recognition step, and if you can understand it, then you can start to understand how, if they're looking for a solution, then you can start to brand yourself in the right way, so that when people do search for a particular thing, you're presenting yourself in the right way, yeah? So the next thing is, obviously, once people recognize what they're going through, the next thing for them to do is search, right? So search is where they're going online, they start looking for solutions, they start to do a bit of research, or they might just search for a product, right? So it could be the intent of the user, so user intent is to buy, right? So it could be purely research, right? It could be to buy, right? Whatever it is, that search step is to do with that. And then comparison could be when they're watching, say, like a YouTube video, and then they're comparing 2 or 3 different ways to solve a problem, right? Or more so as well, it's brands. So if a user has gone through that search process, now they're looking for who are the brands that I align with, like, oh, that company was good when I watched that video, or this product looked good because their social proofing, they had more than 4.5 stars, they had testimonials, they had video reviews, they gave me all the information I needed, everything was there. But this other company, although they were cheaper, I'll save them because they're cheaper, but I'm not sure if they're cheaper if I'm going to get a sub service, right, meaning is the substandard service or whatever. But then selection is when it's a very important part, is this one, and probably one of my favourite bits, is the selection process that people go through when they decide who they're going to buy from, right? And half of it comes down to comparison, where they look over who's the best price, who's offering more value. But the selection, there's so much you can do, and it's sort of contained within the book, right? And then evaluation is once they're ready to hit, once they're ready to decide who they're going to buy from. So once they've done all this sort of stuff, they recognise they've done the research, they've had a comparison to get a feel of what they're like. Then it's that selection stage, right? Of who do they go for and whatnot. Then the evaluation is the point where they actually make that decision of, I am going to go with X from XYZ range of brands, right? Or this is what I'm going to sign up to because this brand looks better than this one, or this brand didn't ask me this, and if they did, I would have bought into them. Everything else looks really good. And it's just this sort of psychology. And but if you understand this sort of stuff, you can then offer them, you could offer them things on your website or your funnel at the right time. And then by understanding the selection side of it, there's loads of stuff that you can do here, right? And I go into detail of why that's important in the book. And then, there's various points, you could even offer them, before they even get to this, you can offer them a really good discount when they're searching. Because if their user intent is to buy, you can, at that level, you can start offering products, yeah? And then naturally what happens is once someone's making a big purchase, especially, is they'll tend to go through this. And this whole cycle as well can be done, literally, I'm not kidding you, can usually be done in less than 30 seconds. In seconds, right? It could be less than 30 seconds, it might be a bit more, but they could go online, this looks good, that didn't look good, go on Amazon, that looks good, that company looks better than that one, they offer next day shipping, buy, right? And they're the ones that are getting snapped up, but they do things in a certain way. And it's because they understand that, okay, when someone's looking at the description, or when someone's reading this, or when someone's looking for delivery, we're giving them information, or we're offering them the right offer in terms of delivery and all this sort of stuff, right? And the purchase, so obviously they buy, and sometimes, right, and then this 7th one is really important. It's because sometimes when people make a sale, they make the sale and then they get out of there and they're done with it, they don't want anything to do with it, they've made the money's in the bank and they don't want anything to do with it. And there is that saying, once the money's in the bank, you're okay, right? But post-purchase, now this is why, this is probably, the reason why I've been so passionate about documenting and writing this book, is that the post-purchase is all about understanding how users feel afterwards, and there's things that you can do to nurture your lead afterwards to make sure that they've got everything they need, and just to say thank you, and just to remind them of their rights as well, like refunds and stuff like that. Make it easy for them, if they've joined, how do they unsubscribe and whatever it is, because if you can make it, sometimes people are more impressed with this, right? And because you're solidifying that they've parted with the hard-earned cash, and you are recognizing that, and you are validating that you understand that, you're thankful and grateful for their custom, right? If you run an online business with this way of thinking, you will honestly do well, because you are nurturing your customers. Some people literally just purchase and then that's it, and then it's on to the next product. But you need to have some way of understanding how users think. Now, if you're interested in about this and you love what you're listening to, right, I've got a special offer for you. It's not even an offer, is you can get a free copy of my book. It's got over 200 pages on Amazon. But if you click the link below, I'll give you access to my book, so free copy of my book, like free instant access, so you can get a read of it, right? So it's a PDF copy, and if you're interested, then click on the link below and you'll learn this main thing that I share in my book, but you'll learn so many other things as well, if this is something that you're thinking about doing, and especially if you're thinking about starting an online business, I would highly recommend to read the book. And so go ahead, if it's something that sounds of interest to you, download my free book. And I'm just grateful that you've watched the video to the end, because this is like my content, and I feel grateful that you've watched this. And if it has helped you, please do like and subscribe, and I will share with you news about a second edition that's coming out of my book. I've got a really good spin on it, and you'll absolutely love it. And it's more to do with how you can use this knowledge and really supercharge online progression with your business, right? How to do really well, but like actual hands-on stuff. And yeah, I mean, I love this stuff. And I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video today. So for the time being, guys, take care, and don't forget to download the book below. Take care.